Good morning on this 23rd of December. I'm making this short live YouTube broadcast in order to announce my immediate resignation from the African National Congress. All of you who know me will also know that this was an extremely difficult decision for me to take. My whole life, 43 years of my adult life, had been dedicated to work within the African National Congress in order to fight for the full liberation of the people of South Africa, especially Black and African. My heart is full. It hurts. But this is something that must be done. We've reached a point of no return after what happened during the last couple of days, from the 16th of December until the 20th of December, at that farcical Congress of the African National Conference at Nasrec. I'm not going to say much more, but to read the press statement that I have now already also issued to all the media, and which I've also sent as my letter of resignation to the office of the Secretary General of the African National Congress. The media statement that I've just released reads as follows. Media statement by Ambassador Carl Niehaus, announcing my decision to resign from the African National Congress and to terminate my membership with immediate effect. Issued on Friday, the 23rd of December, 2022. It is with great sadness and much pain in my heart that I'm issuing this media statement in order to announce and clarify my decision to resign forthwith from the African National Congress. I know that there are those who will continue with their cheap Stratcom political propaganda, attempting to undermine the gravitas and importance of this decision by trying to argue that I cannot resign from an organization that I have apparently already been expelled from. They know very well that since I have formally appealed and filed my heads of argument with the African National Congress National Disciplinary Committee of Appeal, the status quo of my ANC membership was maintained, and my so-called expulsion suspended until the National Disciplinary Committee of Appeal ruled on my appeal. To put it straightforward and simply, I remained a member of the ANC, and with this media statement, I am now resigning my membership. From the moment of issuing this media statement, I am forthwith terminating my uninterrupted veteran ANC membership of over 43 years with immediate effect. I have already emailed a copy of this media statement together with a short covering letter to the office of the ANC Secretary General. I have furthermore instructed my comrade and legal representative, Dr. Matthew Sposa, to officially withdraw my appeal against the spurious, draconian, and illegal expulsion that the Kangaroo Court of the National Disciplinary Committee so unilaterally and illegally imposed on me. It follows that since I'm resigning with immediate effect, to proceed with my appeal will be illogical and a waste of time and effort. There's also no need to subject myself to the continuing farcical kangaroo court of the ANC National Disciplinary Committee, and by extension, the National Disciplinary Committee of Appeal. The trumped-up charges that were brought against me never had any shred of validity. Under the pompous, vacuous, moronic windbag Fikile Mbalula, who now so farcically emerged as the Secretary General of the ANC, there is no chance that any appeal will be adjudicated fairly. Mbalula's own triumphalist dictatorial statement at the closing press conference of the 55th National Conference, that he will be an Inquisition-like enforcer, is more than enough evidence that the so-called New Dawn is now a full-blown era of dictatorship and the repression of freedom of speech. History has no empty pages. And my decades-long history and the dedication and sacrifices that I have made in pursuit of the full liberation of Black, especially African South Africans, as a member of the African National Congress, is well known and a matter of public record. It is not necessary for me to reiterate that history in this media statement. Those who want to acquaint themselves further with my lifelong dedication to the liberation struggle can watch the series of 4 in-depth interviews that the Agenda Network recently released as part of building up an oral history archive. 2 days ago, on Wednesday, the 21st of December, I hosted a 3.5-hour-long In My Crosshairs Twitter space that was tuned into by over 30,000 participants, during which I engaged with fellow comrades and explained in detail why I cannot continue to be a member of the African National Congress. The recordings of this open and public engagement can be listened to on Twitter and watched on my YouTube channel. I made it clear that my ideals, which informed my decision to join the African National Congress 43 years ago, in July 1979, are still exactly the same. My commitment to the full liberation of Black, and especially African South Africans, which encapsulates both liberation from racism and economic exploitation and subjugation, have not changed at all. However, because of a long history of betrayal by sellout leaders, spies and agents of imperialism and white monopoly capital, the original liberation task and commitment with which the ANC was formed on the 8th of January 1912 at the Waihoek Methodist Church in Mangaung was slowly but surely hollowed out and eventually totally betrayed. This is what Comrade Chris Hani warned us against, and that is why he had to be assassinated. During the CODESA negotiations that led to our deeply flawed constitution, and since the first democratic elections, the ANC leadership's increasing eventually wholesale acceptance of neoliberal economic policies, especially during the last 5 years of the disastrous reign of Cyril Ramaphosa, finally destroyed any liberation impulse that still remained in the African National Congress. The death knell for the ANC was sounded when Ramaphosa and his sellout NEC was corruptly and fraudulently elected at the 54th National Conference of the ANC in December 2017 at Nasrec. This finally culminated 5 years later in the disastrous outcomes of the 55th National Conference of the ANC that was held from the 16th to the 20th of December, again at Nasrec. The ANC is now finally dead and buried, and all that remains is to erect the tombstone. The ANC of John Langalabile Dube, Lillian Ngoyi, Charlotte Maxeke, Helen Joseph, Bram Fisher, Chief Albert Lutuli, and Oliver Reginald Tambo, that I joined 43 years ago, has by design deliberately been killed. It no longer exists. I've not left the ANC. The ANC has left me. Our ANC ancestors are spinning in their graves. Imposters have taken over, and they are abusing the ANC colors and logo for a new liberal thing that is no longer the original ANC, and that is now in the slave-like service of white monopoly capitalism and Western imperialism, led by sellout agents and spies under the criminal mafia leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa. Together with other truly committed comrades, I've done everything within my ability to prevent this tragedy from unfolding. Sadly, we have failed. The ANC is dead. It can no longer be saved. Like every other comrade who joined the ANC, with all our liberation ideals and hopes, I've joined the ANC voluntarily as an individual. It follows for me now also, as a matter of my own voluntary conscience, to resign from this new liberal sellout thing that is no longer the ANC. To remain will be the total, ultimate betrayal of my participation in the liberation struggle and all the liberation ideals that I have dedicated my whole adult life to. I call on all fellow comrades who still share those ideals for full liberation to also resign and to leave this hollow-out Trojan horse of new liberal imperialism to implode on its own, which it certainly will. The upcoming national elections of 2024 will be the final death knell of the majority party status of this thing that the sellouts still tried to call the ANC. I plead with my fellow comrades not to continue to sacrifice your rich liberation history and revolutionary commitment on the evil altar of Mammon the false god of crass materialism and money. Your continued presence in this sham so-called ANC will only be abused to create a fake semblance of the non-existent legitimacy to a sellout project. And in the process, your own integrity will be compromised and destroyed. I repeat, there is nothing left for you as revolutionaries to be part of in this so-called ANC. Tragically, the true ANC that you joined is dead. What is now critically important for all of us who continue to believe in the ideals of the full liberation, especially from white capitalist economic oppression of Black and specifically African South Africans, is to urgently engage and consult about how we can proceed to build a dedicated movement to pursue and implement those ideals. That is what our revolutionary efforts and commitment should now singularly be dedicated to, rather than trying to resuscitate the corpse of our erstwhile beloved former liberation movement, the ANC. I pledge that I will continue to dedicate my life and all the energy that I have to the liberation ideals that in the first instance brought me to join the African National Congress. Personally, absolutely nothing has changed for me. I will continue to be fully part of the struggle for radical economic transformation and full liberation. When one vehicle for the achievement of our liberation falters and dies, as is the case with the ANC, others must emerge. Ultimately, the ideal of a truly liberated and just South Africa can and will never be destroyed. Aluta continue. And I signed and issued this statement this morning at 7:30 on the 23rd of December, 2022. I herewith end this live YouTube link up. Now is the time to put our shoulder to the wheel to save our country and our ideals for full liberation. I greet you.